Where do you want to go? You'll get what you want if you act as if you know. It starts with you. Do you believe it? It's all in the way that you choose to see it. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do. When you feel lost and you can't find your way, keep your eye on the prize. It will materialize. You can't miss. Change your perception, leading you to a new direction. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do. Change, change. You can do it. Change, change. It's a sure thing. Change, change. Expect a miracle change. Watch me change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do.
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And we are into change. It is the first time we're meeting together this new year. You get to change the date that you write every time you write it down or type it. And I don't know about for you, but in years past, I've always had trouble remembering it's not the year it was and it's moving into the year it is, and it takes me a while to change writing it. This year, it's no problem. I write 2021. Quick and easy and happy. So I'm embracing the change of the calendar, and I'm also embracing the change that is happening for all of us as we hope, as we move into hope and expectation and intention setting to bring about a change in our lives and a change in where we're going and who we are and how we're going to live out our intentions and desires and expectations. So welcome. This is the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. We're glad you're with us. We are a center that is, we are sustainable. We are doing a beautiful job of being sustainable, and we'll continue that. We are a thriving community that is providing safe, inclusive opportunities and tools for personal transformation and spiritual growth. That is our vision, mission statement, and it has been for a while, and we just want to remind you what it is, because this session, this time together, is talking about beginning our vision and mission and thinking about our new year. So we are a place that welcomes you, whoever you are, whatever background you come from, whatever your current situation you find yourself in. If you are a person of color, if you are a person of the celebration of the plethora of the rainbow, we all show up here and we all are honored for whoever we are. We're honored for our sexuality, for our identity, as well as our choices around that. So in coming together as a community, we embrace all people from all walks of life, from all religions and all kinds of backgrounds. And we do that not just in a way to honor you and to offer you some tools and some guidance and some abilities to move along your path, whatever that path is. So a great quote this morning that actually I wrote that said, when you're really tuned in and committing yourself again and again and again to your path and to the intention of living according to your highest path, you can't get off of it. Even when it may appear that you are, when you've wandered off in a different direction, the truth is you always come back to it. You always come into that place. So further talk about who we are. We are this community, and we practice the principles of the science of mind. We practice ancient wisdom, and in practicing in that, we draw from all kinds of sources. However, the focus for it is our declaration of principles. These we read each week, and we look at them in terms of how do we live, and are they the way we want to live? So Cynthia McCarthy, Reverend Cynthia McCarthy, is going to share with us now the reading of those principles. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Okay, our Declaration of Principle. We're going to get that up on the screen. There we are. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. And so it is. Now, did you know that, well, I know you know that Centers for Spiritual Living have licensed prayer practitioners who go through years of training and have a lot of experience with spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer. But did you know that all CSL ministers have to first be a practitioner? That is a requirement. And so today, when we have our practitioner who is going to give us some insight and lead us in a treatment, we have a special guest, our very own Dr. Bob, who is first a practitioner. Thanks for stepping in, Dr. Bob.
Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate your. This is our theme for this month. And it is actually our theme for the entire year: timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. We have said for many years that our teaching is all about ancient wisdom and new thought. And so now we are in the process of taking this forward and being a little more specific this year about some of what that means for us. So I want to share with you today, as a lead in for our spiritual mind treatment, that CSL has created a system or a set of what our vision is, what our vision for the evolution of the planet and for the evolution of our organization. We established this several years ago when we integrated and became a new organization, and this is a part of or an excerpt from our global vision. And it is a vision for all humanity. It is a vision that is conceptualized as both on the personal, individual, and in the larger world. We see a world in which every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God, Spirit, the infinite, universe, whichever language works for you, and connection with one another, with each other. A world in which individually and collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life, respects and honors. That's really an important part of this. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness, Centers for Spiritual Living. So I share that to let you know and to say that this is where we are in the larger picture and who we are becoming. It's what we want to be as an organization. Now you may agree with some or all of that or none of it, and it's okay with me, whichever that happens to be. However, and it is also okay with the organization when we name these global ideas. We are not standing behind any one group or any one political party or any one national identity or any one organization. We are an international organization. We have centers all over the world. And it is important that we stay focused and grounded in our individual teaching, in our teaching of the truth, and recognizing that how that gets interpreted and translated into the social world is really up to you, and it's up to me. And it's not a matter of me telling you how you should think. We never talk about how you should think. We teach you, or not what you should think. We teach you how to think and start from a process and then move through to it. So the idea here is, how do you think about this? What would you do with it? And it's a rich and wonderful opportunity for our organization to imagine. I mean, imagine that, a world that works for everyone, a world in which everyone's highest spiritual place, idea, goes forward and unfolds. Now, what our basic core practice in this teaching is that of spiritual mind treatment. It's a core practice. It's a practice that comes out of a basic idea of prayer. But it's that basic idea of prayer that is not of asking and begging God to do something. God's already got it. God knows exactly how to do what God needs to do on this planet. But the prayer is to change our minds so that we align with that greater idea of good that's already in us and out there, so that we can manifest and bring forward a greater experience of that good. You know, how much good can we have? As much as we can embody. Well, we embody it through spiritual mind treatment. We embody it through getting those ideas and pulling them in. So I want to guide us in a spiritual mind treatment. I will do this in the first person. I will invite you to take a few moments to go within, to turn away from all the world around you and all the busyness and all the stuff that's happening. And in doing so, to really feel some inner connection with spirit, with truth. So as we do this, breathe all the way down, all the way in, all the way down to your toes. Imagine your whole body filling with breath as you relax and simply allow the air to come in and go out. Notice how it feels different as you breathe in and when you breathe out. The breathing in may be crisp and clear, and the breathing out may be warm and humid. You're breathing in one set of gases and letting go another. You're interacting and interconnecting with the world around you with every breath. We cannot live without being in communication and connection with the world around us, and breathing is one of the most basic parts of that. So imagine we breathe in the greater good that God is, and we breathe out the nonsense, the things that go on in our lives that we worry about or we think about or we criticize ourselves about. Just let them go. Because the truth is, the breath is simply awakening the awareness that's already in you. And so in this awareness, I invite you to turn your attention to the possibility and the truth that I believe, that there is only one power that is all there is in the universe. And it's enough. And it shows up in various degrees filtered in our lives and our beliefs. But the wholeness, the purity, the oneness of that power in all of its goodness is yours, and it is here. It is who you are. It is what you're made of. It's what breathes your lungs, beats your heart, processes all those amazing things that are happening in your body at all times, thinks your thoughts and brings ideas to and through you that are important for you and for the rest of the world to experience goodness. And so we allow our imaginations run wild as we imagine a world in which all people are honored and respected. All people are recognized as divine, expressions of the divine. From our dearly beloveds to our noisy neighbors to those around us who are and those far away that we don't even know, but who in just a few months will be sharing the same physiology as us. Those things that we breathe out, they'll be breathing in and becomes part of them. Just as the things you're breathing in comes from all around the planet. Recognizing this unity, this oneness, imagine a world where all are valued. Imagine a world in which we each one value everyone. Imagine a world in which there's no need for any one group to claim that they matter because all matter. And yet, in the meantime, we claim those who have not felt that they matter, that they matter. And so, right now, in this moment, imagine a world in which everyone matters. Imagine a world in which we forgive ourselves and each other for all of those things that where we think small, where we limit our being, where we limit who and what we are, when we play small and fail to see the divine in each one. Imagine a world in which the flow of prosperity is so abundant and rich for every person that no one goes without or goes lacking. But we have systems in place, world systems that allow us to care for one another and to take care of the needs of every person. Basic needs for food and shelter and water. To love and be loved, to have the possibility of finding our dreams and living our dreams. Imagine this world works for you and is about you as well as anyone else. And we release any ideas of lack, limitation, any idea that anything about a God-centered vision could be to lose anything at all. We acknowledge and embrace the idea that a God-centered vision is a vision that is only better and more joyous and more free and more fulfilling than any we had before. And as we step into this new day and this new time and this new year and this beginning of a long, long, wonderful evolution on this planet, we step into it knowing we are about to become even greater than we knew ourselves to be. And in that goodness and in that greatness, we can release all the nonsense that says we're less than, all the nonsense that says that we're in danger, all of the truth that right here, right now, using our wisdom, and visioning our future, all is well and continues to be more and more an expression of the good. So in this truth, right here, right now, I celebrate it. I know that it is who I am and what I'm about. I'm grateful that my imagination has the power to change things. It changes things in my life and thereby changes the whole world. I'm so grateful for imagination as a function of living that is so rich and so wonderful and so limitless. And in this gratitude, in this joy, in this freedom, I release this now, letting it be the truth. I let it be so. And so it is. And so, I want to share with you one of my all-time favorite songs that we're going to hear and listen to now.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Amazing things. You will do amazing things. I will too, and so will we all. But I hope you took that in. You know, and as she says in that song, in some places, the amazing things can be as simple as really being alive in your everyday activities. However limiting they may feel right now, and how much closed in or not closed in you may feel, and how all of that may be rumbling around in you, the more clearly we can let go and trust that there is within us a power that is greater than anything we can yet imagine, then the more amazing we become. This is teaching, which teaches us how to be amazing and to do amazing things. This is a teaching which we say often is grounded in ancient wisdom while it's evolving in a vision of what can be. And that's an interesting tension sometimes, because sometimes we can get stuck too much in one or the other. We can get too stuck in the idea of an ancient wisdom that has to be a certain way, and it has to be spoken a certain way and said a certain way and done a certain way. And then other times we can get so stuck in the vision, we lose track of what's grounded and what's real and what it's based on. You've probably known people in both of those camps at times. And I don't know about you, but I fall back and forth between them. Like I have a vision of singing, and singing beautifully and singing well and singing out there and live. But then I remember the basic principle: I need to practice, and I need to have a place to do it. So we go back and forth. Or then I get into the principle that, well, like, you know, this singing is such a great thing, and it's so important, and it's so much what I want to do, and I end up thinking about it and meditating about it and going on about it and thinking about it and meditating about it and going on about it, and I don't ever do anything. So we can fall in both places. We can fall on both sides. And what this is really about, though, is about balancing the two. Balancing our, I mean, they're not necessarily in tension, but you may feel it that way sometimes, but balanced in that ancient wisdom and the evolving vision. While in truth, our evolving vision is based and must be based on our ancient wisdom. And it's an interesting thing about ancient wisdom. We talk about, you know, there are aspects of this teaching, aspects of contemporary modern spiritual teaching that goes back thousands of years. The idea of one power, one spirit, goes back to ancient Egypt. And there are evidences of it even further back in China and in the ancient pre-Hinduism of the Vedas. Thousands of years. And that we grasp to and we hold on to and we work with. However, we don't bring everything about those religions into the contemporary world. So it's really grounded in ancient wisdom interpreted for today. Because if we tried to do those things the way they did them, interpret them, I don't think we'd like it very much. That power of oneness. In ancient Egypt, when the leader died, everybody who was part of his group, his family, was killed along with him, including the one who first brought the idea of one power, one God. He talked about the sun god. I don't do that. Similar thing happens in some of our, I mean, one of my spiritual practices and groups that I truly love and grow and learn so much from are Native Americans and other indigenous folks, or indigenous folks, as someone recently said. who started and have been in the same place and allowing their evolution to happen in that way over so many thousands of years. And some of their ideas are so rich and beautiful. But then you get to the idea where my people are the only people and all other apparent people aren't really human. I don't embrace that part, but I sure embrace the idea that there's a power and a spirit in everything, and that every hawk and every bird and every bug and every part of our creation has a spiritual presence and a spiritual power and a spiritual goodness. Love that part. So we embrace ancient wisdom filtered through new thought. So that's why it's pretty well often we say it right together, ancient wisdom, new thought, because we are bringing and balancing those two at the same time. And then let's talk a minute about the vision side. Michael Beckwith, who's well known as a minister within New Thought teaching, massive, wonderful ministry all over the world. He says we're pushed by our pain until we are pulled by our vision. Think about that a minute. That may seem true to you, it may not. It's been true in my life, where the pain about something, being in a relationship sometimes at some point, it was very painful and very difficult. And I held on to it and held on to it, and the pain got worse and worse until I reached a point and began to envision something better, envision myself in a rich, wonderful, loving, gentle relationship. And my world and life began to change. That one just fizzled out. And something new opened the doorway for new relationships, new people, new places to be. So we're pushed by our pain, whether there's the pain of the lack of prosperity in our lives, or the apparent lack of prosperity, the apparent lack of a job, a place to give our gifts in a rich and wonderful way. And when that starts to hurt too much, then we begin, if we, and maybe for some of us it's a lot sooner than later, begin to vision and visualize and imagine ourselves in that job of our dreams. Imagine ourselves with a flow of prosperity from which we don't even know where, we don't know what avenues it comes through, but we do know it comes from God, however it comes to us. So we move out of the pain and into the vision and into the possibility. And our calling, this is where vision becomes anchored in ancient truth, because what we vision is not how things will happen, but what we want to become at the end of the vision. Ancient truth teaches us that God is in the details. The how is in the details. Our role is to establish clearly the vision of what we want to become. That's how Science of Mind International, or CSL International, created that vision statement of a global vision, so that we could see what we want, where we're going, and then look at all the steps to get there. And as those are revealed to us, and as we struggle along in figuring out how to get there, it continues to always correct and bring us back to the center and the focus and the truth of the vision. Yeah. So how do we do this? How do we hold that balance, and how do we create these amazing lives? Because you can, even in the midst of a virus, in the midst of all this going on around you. Now, amazing may be defined differently than it might have been for you in the past, but it's still powerful and possible. One of the keys to that is that we honor truth and goodness wherever we see it. I don't know about you, but some of these commercials lately on television, and some of these short stories about what people are doing for each other right now and getting through and supporting and helping, they bring me to tears. When I look at how people are setting themselves aside, their own ego, their own needs, in order to help and provide for others in a rich and powerful way. It's really meaningful, really powerful. course, the commercials are about tugging at my heartstrings to get me to spend money, and that doesn't work. However, it does work in that it just recognizes, even in that, our advertising people are seeing the values that we all place on the human caring experience. And that's new, and that's different. And that's something I'm grateful for coming out of our current world and current situation. You know, we reach back to the ancient Vedas, to all of those things that are we bring forward and incorporate into new thought, and we honor them, and we sift through them, and you each one individually get to choose what of that you're going to believe and what you're not. Ernest Holmes has some to say about this. I'm going to share my screen again. Ernest, for those who may not know this, is the founder of this teaching and this movement that we are part of. Ernest says, find me one person who can get his own littleness out of the way, and he shall reveal to me the immeasurable magnitude of the universe in which I live. This is part of the Sermon by the Sea, his last talk delivered to the whole organization in California at Asilomar. Find me one person who can get his own or her own. He was a person of his times. Sorry about that. And not. He was a person of his times. And it was, but he says you can get their littleness out of the way. See, we have got the opportunity to get our littleness out of the way in order to have the amazing lives that we choose or desire. See, we let go of our doubts and wavering. Is there a God? Is God here for me? Is God real? What does that really mean? How do I even figure that out or know it or live it? All of that begins to drift away because that's our littleness. That's our smallness that forgets who we are. Our bigness, our truth reminds us of those times where we declared something for ourselves, where we felt it strongly, and then it just showed up in our lives. Here's the next one. Ernest goes on to say, find me one person who has so completely divorced from himself, herself, all arrogance, and you will have discovered for me an open pathway to the kingdom of God here and now, in this time, in this place. See, that's the second important piece that I wanted to talk about, and that is openness. We are open to seeing and recognizing the greater good in ourselves and each other. We're open to not doing away with ego in the sense of trying to destroy it or kill it or shut it down, but simply to recognize what it is. Where ego is no longer part of my spiritual self, and yet it's still there to help me through the day because ego allows my interface with the world and my way of handling things when they show up by surprise. So we don't kill it or destroy it. What we do is we embrace it and move forward. It's a great idea. It's a great pathway. And the last thing that he says and that he talks about, that I want to talk about, is there's that honor, that openness, and then the vision. Bringing forward for each of us the vision, not some vision out there, but really what's the vision in me? That's the one that matters. I can read you wonderful things written beautifully all day long. The only vision that matters is what is your vision for yourself and your place in this universal truth, this universal awareness, this universal expression. What is it that you want to know? Not how to know it, but what do you want to know? What do you want to experience? What do you want to be? You know how we do with kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm still asking myself that. What do I want to be when I grow up? I have a good friend who, when he was in his late 70s, used to say, well, what I want to be when I've grown up is a kid. And I think there's a lot of truth to that for me, at least, and for many of us. We find out, we figure out, we look at, what do we want to be? So we practice visioning. We can learn a practice of visioning in which by doing this practice and by asking, by going quietly, asking within a few basic questions, and then trusting the answers that come up to us without necessarily doing anything about them at the time, but just opening the idea. Because eventually the goal is to be always guided by our vision, whoever we are and whatever we're about. Another practice that we teach in this teaching is a practice of sacred study. And sacred study is about contemplation. That's a part of this is what the group does every Sunday morning when they get together prior to this and discuss ancient wisdom and teachings from 100 years ago, some of them, and ideas that are still being understood and brought forward into the planet. And they discuss it and they talk about it. That's a really powerful way to do sacred study, is to share and to talk back and forth, read and discuss sacred text. Because when you talk about it, you share about it, you get clearer about what you really think. We can think a lot of things inside of our heads, but until we put it up out loud with other people, we're not really sure that that's what we think and believe. Some of my best ideas in the privacy of my own mind, when I bring them forward, are really not. We're going to start a Wednesday series soon, and my idea was Wackadoodle Wednesdays, and that sounded so good in my mind. It wasn't very good whenever I heard it from other people or when I shared it with other people. They roll their eyes at me like, what? So instead, we're doing Wisdom Wednesdays, and you'll hear more about that later. So all of this is like sharing and giving back and forth is a way of divine and sacred study that is so important and so much a part of who and what we are. Amazing things. You will do amazing things, and I will do amazing things. We will do amazing things of love, of compassion. We will do amazing things of achievements. Some of you will find solutions to the problems the world is facing right now and go, oh my goodness, this is so simple. Here's what we need to do. We have people listening to this from all levels of responsibility in the world and all levels of influence and life. But it doesn't matter. What matters is whatever level you are, when you decide on a belief and you see the vision of how to become it, not how to become it, but what you want to become, you have already changed the world. When you see a vision of a world that works for everyone, without knowing how it's going to work out, no one ever believed that a virus is what would bring us together this year in a way we have not been together as a human consciousness before. I heard someone recently saying, instead of stomping away at 2020, if you look at the bigger picture, it may be our best year yet for human development of consciousness. Take the best and leave the rest, as they say. So knowing this vision is there for you, this greatness is there for you, I invite you, as in the simpleness of that song, quit thinking so much about it. Listen within for what matters to you, and trust that there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are. And you can use it by imagining into it and knowing it responds accordingly. This is who you are. This is what you're about. I celebrate you. I honor you. I'm open to your ideas and your truth. I'll let this be so. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you on Sunday after Sunday and share my ramblings and my thoughts about what is real and what is true and what works. I'm very grateful to have this chance. And so I want to invite one of our wonderful board members to come forward and talk to us about what's next, both in prosperity and otherwise. Cynthia McCarthy.
Thanks, Dr. Bob. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees and everybody here at CSL, Happy New Year to everyone. And I do want to touch on this wonderful concept of prosperity and address what Karen was saying last week, because I think she put it so well when she brought up, you might have different organizations that you contribute to and donate to that you might not be personally connected to. But in supporting this Center for Spiritual Living, it really gives you a return on your investment. And I just loved the way that she put that. It really resonated with me. And I just want to make sure you all know that we recognize all the ways that you invest in and support our center. And you are making it possible for us to spread our reach, and you are making our growth possible. The board, we see it happening in every month when we get together. We see it in our financial growth. We see it in all the ways you share our message and information about the center. We see it in the way that you invite friends to tune in and join us. We see every time we see more boxes up here in the Zoom or more numbers on Facebook, that's due to you and your activity, and it's God in action, and it's God in action in our center. So we are very thankful for that, very grateful. The best part is, as we continue to expand, we are just coming up with more ideas and more ways to build our community. And we're going to talk more about that in the announcements. We have great things coming up. We've got our affirmation of prosperity up. Let's say this together. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. All right. And just so you are aware, there are many ways that you can do that and give and donate to our center. Let me just pop this into the chat window for you. There you go. You can visit our website. You can donate through Realm. You can do it a one-time thing, or you can set it up to do it on a recurring basis. You can mail us a check. All of that information is on there. I think you can still also donate through PayPal. Okay, so we've got our new theme for the year, new theme for the month, timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. Next Sunday, Dr. Bob will be here, grounding beyond the beginning. Today, after the service on Zoom, we stay a little late and have a little interactive chat and discussion, and that's our little time. Again, ways to build our community and get to know each other and stay connected with each other. Also, during the week, we can stay connected. On Tuesdays at noon, we have our spiritual empowerment sessions. It is amazing. The link is always on Facebook. The link is on the website. It's the same Zoom link you're on right now for the Sunday service. Pop on at noon on Tuesdays Eastern Time, and we just sort of check in with each other. It's a small group. Dr. Bob leads us in a beautiful treatment, which, as we saw today, he's got a knack for, doesn't he? Coming up soon is Wisdom Wednesdays, as Bob mentioned. This is a great opportunity to revisit the core of our teachings, and he's going to take us through that. I believe it's 4 weeks, right? He's giving me the nod. And those are going to be on Wednesdays, 6 to 7 p.m. Okay. And no, maybe 7. I think it's supposed to be 7. Okay. All right. We'll get that all straightened out. That link is going to be also on the website. It's the same Zoom as for everything, but there's more information on the website as well. Oh, let's see. Oh, if you're on Facebook and you see our post pop up, please give us a share. Share our live broadcasts. You can share our videos when they pop up. It helps get us out there. And I see you guys doing it. We appreciate it so much. We have our Sunday morning discussion group. Led by our practitioners. That is before the service at 10 a.m. Pop on and check us out. Yes, there's reading, but it's not required reading. It's the 365 Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. That they're like little daily meditations. It's an amazing book, great reading. Pop on even if you're just curious about it. Good discussion there, as Dr. Bob was just discussing. We do have our practitioners that are here serving us. They are here to serve you. If you're not ready maybe for a one-on-one conversation and reaching out by calling, that we have a link on the website. You could submit a prayer request that way. We live in a texting email world. If that's how you'd rather do it, they're here for you. Reach out and have them help you. I think I hit everything. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. And yes, that should be 7 to 8. I think that was my error, but anyway, now we got it fixed. So Mike will pick that up as well. Wow. Well, what a wonderful day this has been. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you have. I trust that you share this with friends. If you liked it, share it, Zoom it, tell people about it. And that's one of the great ways that you can give back to this organization as well. So here we go. Let's share our closing affirmation. We do this with great truth and great energy, perhaps. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire, to be an amazing person. I give thanks for this understanding. I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives within me and through me, and so it is. Take care. Bless you all.